Hello, boys. Sorry about that. Thank you for letting me know the volume was not working at all. Once in a while, my computer glitches, so that's fixed. And for the last couple of months, we've had tons of fires. I was covering them on a regular basis, and I took a break because we've been getting the big major news things coming in. So while we have it, let's enjoy it. And then when it dries up, I will cover the fires again, so we can try to decode where it's at now. If we can have any more reveals from that. And it always paints a complete picture after the fact. So yeah, man. Oh, bull. If I'd love, in a way, I'd love to, bro. J'aimerais ça, mon frère. Of course. The problem is, 3/4 of the people would be complaining. It's damned if you do, damned if you don't. But I understand it. This particular complaint, I would completely be on board with, and not take it as a lack of respect or appreciation. I'd say I understand. 3/4 wouldn't understand anything. And that's good with me. The he says we don't have the translation when we watch the news related videos. I don't know what you mean, man. But they're in French. I'm reading them in French, and I try to translate them for the anglophones. Or else I wouldn't be doing this. Yeah, that's why I don't do the British Columbia stuff often. Very rarely. I just try to catch up, and then I might do it. Because it's already in English. I don't want to insult people's intelligence. But for the goal of the channel is to bring it to more people, bro. But you're good, bro. I appreciate you, dude. Of course. So let's get into it. Nobody that covers like this. I appreciate you, pal. I appreciate people who appreciate me. I appreciate that, man. It's a thankless job, bro, because you get demonetized all the time. And you get people who want short videos, but they don't understand the work that you have to put into making those short video editing stuff. And then other people don't understand this is a community. I like to chat with my people. And if you want to skip through this chat, not you, but the other guys, you can always skip through in the middle of the video if you like, But I'm here to hang out with my buddies too, bro. So let's get into the news, pal. There's more Frederick Silva revelations coming in. Let's see what they're saying, and they're feeding us. This is the journalist who was had a $100,000 bounty on his head by Silva himself. He's writing the articles, rubbing it in a victory. What does it say here? It says, Bull says, man, I'm not sure I understand, but he says, I meant when we watching news video, you gotta stop and translate. Got it, I do stop and translate, and then I get other people saying, bro, you shouldn't stop the video. You should have it all text typed out. He has no idea how long it would take to do that. Plus, I'm hosting them live. I'm actually hosting them live, There's no win either way, my man, But yeah, I try to translate everything. Other people say, you don't have to translate everything. There's always someone complaining about something, and they don't understand my situation to be in my shoes, But anyways, now someone's going to complain about this too, that I answer and that I'm answering people. There's no win. How's it going, pal? So, the beginning of his worries. You see the photos here of Silva, 2010, 2007, 2003. You see the age going down here. He's getting younger and younger in this progression. That means he's been arrested a bunch of times, man. Silva felt invincible. The following May, he makes one mistake. He kills an innocent civilian after a dispute inside of a bar. We talked about that, After this crime, he hides in a motel in Laval and would not go back to his place in Terrebonne. And that's what leads to his arrest. 1 week after offing that civilian who he had an argument at a bar, the police pass to arrest Silva when he rejoins his family to watch a movie. The movie is called Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and he watches it in Cineplex Laval. But the killer notices the presence of police vehicles around him, and he immediately drops to the floor. No, never mind. I think he says no. They park next to him. Sorry, misread this. And he manages to save himself. see what's going on here. And the following day, so they're just saying that he got arrested at that point. And you know what? It's not this one. There was a that I saw. Let me just give me a sec here. There, that's gonna get me dinged. So I had to block that before I go down. Let's see what he got here. The following day, his name, his picture, and a description of Silva figures on the 10 most wanted people in Quebec. Then his manhunt begins, and it will last 2 years, they say. So they put 2 double agents on his trails, or on the trails of his girlfriend. One of them being a police double agent, and he fakes that he's a client that's particularly sympathetic to the girlfriend of Silva. So they get through with your girlfriend. That's how they get to you. Who is and then and the girlfriend lets him know that, my boyfriend's part of a criminal organization and that his life is not easy. Now, that's one double agent. Then there is another double agent they're about to speak about. The other double agent fakes that he's a bandit. Was, I guess, easy, that he's in the criminal underworld. He sends flowers to the girlfriend or wife of Silva. And I'm confused. He slips a cell phone inside of the vehicle of Silva. I don't know. So I guess they tapped a phone. The police tapped a phone. And they made that double agent, whatever, that police officer faking being a gangster, he somehow slipped that phone inside of Silva's car. I don't get it. But they say it was in vain. It's an accomplice of Silva that calls back the criminal. It's an accomplice of Silva who calls back the criminal to tell him to stop bothering the woman. Okay? Master of dissimulation. During his run, with the help of his accomplices, Silva changes locations many times in Montreal in order to escape the police. Sometimes he uses fake identities, one being called David Gérard, or Gérard, I'm not sure. And that's actually someone he knew. He used the name of a friend that he had who passed away in 2017. He used his name. Here you have a picture of Silva inside of one of the metros. And it's a metro in Laval, this one. And they captured this picture, they say, that I guess that's a day, that's a specific day he had committed a murder. I don't know if it's before or after, but the police are investigating. They look at cameras around, and they managed to grab the footage. But on that day, he killed a automobile dealer owner, Alessandro Vinci, and this was in autumn of 2018. When this happened, when you have this. He says here, he then moves on a taxi, on foot, in metro, and by bike. He wears glasses, which he doesn't have a prescription for because he's changing his appearance. And he also grows a beard. He spends tens of hours at a tattoo shop in order to cover his tattoos. Right, so he tries to cover up his tattoos. Now, I'm assuming that's him. And is this a shot of before the tattoo coverage or after? I don't know. But that's got to be him. Now, the picture says, on this photo taken a couple of moments after his arrest. So by now he had made another tattoo to cover the previous tattoo that he had. So we cannot see what he had before. This is the new tattoo with the coverage. They're saying here, we can see dead in the middle of his back the letters K and B. K and B. You see that right there? Let me just see what you see. I lost my screen. Give me a sec. All right, good. Now I can see what you see. For a moment, I lost that. I just want to make sure you could see it. So I think that's for the gang. The guy named one of the comments Crass Biz or something like this. I remember it's an old name. Oh, there you go. Crass Biz. There you go. It was an old name. I heard that before, but man, I would have never remembered if you didn't tell me that name. Old gang name. Very old. All right. He pays everything in cash and spends time inside of bars in the corner. He consumes beer and plays 2 lottery machines. He watches television alone inside of his condo. He starts biking in the old Montreal after that. Now, there's a 3 holiday periods during his run, they say, where he was on the run, I mean. His accomplices rented a chalet so that he could go meet up his family over there in secret, right? Which he helped to pay for. Here it's a bloody, how you say, a bloody, like, how do you call this? I don't know the word, but a bloody running away from the cops, you know? Or a bloody run. There you go, that's even better. That's really what I want to say. Bloody run. We already know that in the autumn of 2018, Frederick Silva had killed 3 men. Alessandro Vinci, who we saw here, he had committed it on this day where this snapshot was taken. Not here, of course, but where were we? So on 2018, he had admissions to do. He had Alessandro Vinci, the dealership owner or employee, I'm not sure. Yvon Marchand and Sébastien Beauchamp, the ex-rocker we talked to you about last time, or mentioned briefly. Murders of which he had a process in court in 2021. But the officers, the police, suspect him of having committed more murders than these 3 when he was on the run, which was confirmed later on in summer of 2022 because he was arrested and he started to cooperate, right? Silva utilizes cell phones with applications, encrypted messaging apps. He also has tens of firearms at his disposition. When he's on the hunt, he always carries 2 Glocks on him, as they say, in case one fails, you know. His accomplices place GPS devices under the vehicles of their targets in order to follow them. For certain offings, Silva doesn't even drive there. He moves around using the metro or a taxi. And I don't understand how this works, but he says he also has an account under the name of Mike at Taxi Diamond. This is a brand. You know the taxi cabs? They have like a company banner, you know? Taxi Diamond is the banner, but they say that he registered under an account called Mike. I don't know what that means. It means you have to. I don't know how this stuff works. I haven't taken a taxi. I don't know. You register to an application and you have to use a name, I guess. I don't know. And then you put Mike there, or you used a friend called Mike. I don't know. But that's what it says here. That was blocked out from me. You know what it is. It's still gonna get me dinged probably. Before an offing, Silva always takes his jewelry and watch off in order to not lose them while he's on the run. After the crime, he throws the cell phone inside of a sewer, and he drops his clothes inside of the waters of the old port. So those who know, we have I think always, when it's time, I don't remember the names, but I think it's like a Fleuve Saint Laurent, whatever. There's the water. If anyone came to Old Montreal, there's the boats, there's water. In fact, that's exactly where we heard Arab power leader throw. Remember, I keep saying he roofed the thingy. He roofed the thingy in the waters. That's the waters, the same waters. So imagine how many artifacts you could find there from the criminal underworld roofing things. It's a little bit funny to hear. So he did it too. So he throws his cell phone, he throws his clothes and cell phone inside of the sewer, he throws the clothes inside of the old port, and on his way to come back to Duke Street, where he was hiding for a year, for almost a year. Now I don't know where Duke Street is. I'm assuming it's near the old port. I'm just trying to follow the sequence of how they describe things. They said he took a bike near the old port. He was hanging around there. Now you hear that he's throwing his clothes and he dipped something in the old port too. And then he's walking back home. So I'm assuming his condo that he mentioned earlier was in the old port. And that would not surprise me. It's funny how history repeats itself. Lots of these criminals, they have condos in the old port. The Italian mafia hooks them up with the fake names and all that, I guess, because there was plenty more street gangs who've had rented places in the old port. But on the night of the 22nd February 2019, when he's walking his dog on a leash, Silva notices a woman that's not walking a dog, I guess is what they're saying, and that woman starts to speak to him. Okay, got it. So he's walking his dog in a dog park. Allegedly, this is a dog park. And a woman approaches to come speak to him. Well, what's that woman doing in a dog park if she doesn't have a dog? Well, maybe she likes to walk around, and she just landed there. But I'm thinking he might be thinking this is suspicious. It's just the way that they worded this article. He worries having been spotted by the police. So there you go. So he gets freaked out by that, and he's worried that he was spotted by the police, and he immediately moves towards his condo when a van stops right next to him. Many cops come out and all that. Now I'm gonna play a portion of it because the moment he goes on the ground is when I'm gonna get dinged for what by YouTube. It's so stupid. So we can watch a little bit beforehand, see what we just read. Here you. Oh, sorry about that. You don't see it. Here you go. So the dog, Silva looking behind him. You see him. He's a little bit suspicious. You see how he's checking behind him. The van comes here. It stops. Silva realizes what's going on. They come out, and you know the rest. Hands up in the air. So you got it. And they tell him to get on the floor, while his dog, poor dog, man, is going crazy and runs away. The dog is scared. He runs away. Poor dog, man. Silva is then mastered after 20 months on the run. So they caught him. And here's the actual picture of him, what he looked like at the end of his career as a killer, or you could call him a serial killer. And you could see that big upside down smile, You know what I mean? It's all the way at the opposite direction. Art imitates life. Even his beard is, his mustache and his beard is anti-smiling at you, and his face. He doesn't look happy. That's not good. So where are we at here? Poor dog for real. And yeah, that's it. When the police search his apartment, they find masks, GPS devices, and cell phones. Multiple ones. In the hours preceding his arrest, Silva... I don't know what they're trying to say. You're saying Silva was questioning himself? Still with a phone and a GPS placed under his Toyota Camry of Salvatore Scopa. I don't know what they're trying to say here. Dans les heures précédant son arrestation, Silva interrogeait encore avec un téléphone une balise placée sous la Toyota Camry, blindée de Salvatore Scopa. So, I'm not too sure. It's saying that he was interrogating his phone about a GPS placed under the Toyota Camry of the bulletproof car of Salvatore Scopa. Remember, he tried to off him, right? Remember, we talk about that. He got him at the end at the at what do you call it? At the hotel or that dining ball, that family place. I think I think it was him that offed him. I think, but there was another case when they tried to off the other brother, and it was definitely him. They have him on camera, letting go rounds, but he didn't kill the Andrea guy. If that, I think that was Andrea. He didn't manage to kill him. So it's referring to one of these two. It says Salvatore Scopa. Okay, we know it is Salvatore Scopa. Now, I don't know. Maybe the GPS device has an app, and you can check it with your phone. Maybe that's what they mean. So in the hours preceding the arrest, Silva was still looking at his phone, I guess, at the app and looking at where Salvatore Scopa was. Now, I don't know. How do they know this? I'm not too tech savvy, but they know that a few hours before he did this. Now, here you have a picture of him with the name of his old friend that died in 2017. We don't know who that is. Just passed away, they said. He's using his name as an identity. Here you have him. And if those who don't know, sorry, just for lore, this is our health insurance card in Quebec. Okay? Now, but the cops do not find his fake passport. But the cops do not find his fake passport that would have been under the name David Gerard, the same name. They don't find his passport. Okay. Here's a picture of his condo. It's inside of this space, fixed inside of a wall, at the tip or end of the counter of the kitchen of this condo, where he was. Where the police found the passport, a fake passport of Silva in 2022. I thought they didn't find it. But now they say they found his passport in 2022. I don't know, man. It's a little bit difficult to figure out what they're saying here. But they say they found a fake passport for Silva. And that's when he began to collaborate with them. Three years after his arrest. So I'm assuming within those 3 years, while he was arrested, that's when he also put the bounty on the. Ironically, the guy who wrote this article, the guy whose words we're reading right now, he's gonna be a legend in the journalism space, man. He's doing a fantastic coverage. He's giving us so much, and this comes from the cops. Maybe you should put I'm joking. Maybe you should have put a bounty on the 5-0s. There's the ones who caught you. There's the ones who put all this on you. Oh no, but they're tough. You don't want to deal with tough people. You go after the journalist who just got the information that they had already on you. But it is only after Silva began to collaborate with the investigators of the Montreal police that they will discover these indications. The passport was hidden inside of a wall of his condo. And I don't know, they gave us this picture. They said at the end of the counter, what wall? Am I pointing to, was this wood stapled to the wall and you had to remove that staple? I don't know if they're talking about that, They're clearly not talking about the inside of this cabinet. That would have been easy to describe it like that. They're saying the wall. So I'm looking here and they're showing us this picture, but we have to figure out. My best guess is it's this thing here. That's my best guess. Let's keep going. On the 21st of November 2017, 4 days after the death of David Gerard, Silva presented himself. That's crazy. So 4 days after his buddy, if I didn't misread it, he knew the guy. He was his buddy. I don't think he killed him. That would be one of the dumbest things he could do. Kill someone and then go do this. That would be stupid as hell. I don't think he's stupid. He sounds like a pretty smart guy. So I guess David Gerard is his friend. And 4 days after David Gerard's death, he presented himself at a government office. So a Passport Canada, that's I guess where you make your passports, with his fake document. But 2 months later, the police were informed that the system, reconnaissance, the detection system for facials. No, not that kind of facials. You know what I'm talking about. The detection system for facials, the authorities have detected the requests made by Silva under the name of Gerard. Wow. Okay. So they have technology. They when you take a picture at Passport Canada, because there's people coming in and out. And now they have facial recognition technology, and if you're a criminal, you're wanted. They probably analyzed your face and they have whatever, they have data on you, and now whenever you go apply for a passport and you go take a picture, it will be able to detect if you're someone that's wanted. It's it's crazy. It's crazy shit, man. I'm not gonna lie. This blows my mind. That's how he got detected after they detected that was his face. In other words, here's a picture of Silva when he tried to take that picture. Crazy, man. You see, he does kind of look different, but he looks the same too. You know. Let's keep going. Let's see what they put. David Guerra. What did he put here? Can we see a date of birth? Issue date? No, we don't have any. Date of birth. There you go. 1983, 30th of July. All right. I find that strange. It's called irregular passport. Interesting. But anyways, let's keep going. Silva then bought a ticket for a boat trip or a trip. At least I could say it's a trip. His plan was to go down to Haiti and then to another country after that. But that plan will never be executed. Probably because of his fear. I'm not sure what they're saying, but of his fear of border control or to get caught, I guess. And then then it's at the detention or the establishment in Bordeaux, the prison, where Silva, instead of taking his tropical vacation where he had planned to refuge himself, it's from his cell phone that he will quickly retake his criminal activities. And as we know, after that, he put the bounty on the guy's head too. Let's continue. Oh, this came first. This article actually came beforehand. My bad, I switched them up. But let's see. This is the prelude to what we just read. Since the beginning of 2009, the Sicilian clan has been the object of an attempted putsch, fomented by rebel groups and many of their chiefs, where Vito, the son of Vito Rizzuto, the son Nick Rizzuto, was offed. More and more operations of the Sicilian clan passes hands to the enemies. The abandonments multiply themselves. The chiefs of the Sicilians, who have less and less money, must implicate themselves to defend their interests. In 2011, Silva obtains a conditional liberation from prison. And he gets himself, I'm not sure if he means a fake job. I'm not sure what this means exactly. I think they're going there. And he finds himself a fake employment inside of a roofing enterprise belonging to a friend of Stefano Sollecito. There you go. This last one, I guess Stefano Sollecito, convokes him to a meeting at his place, where his father, Rocco Sollecito, is also present. And at the arrival of Silva, he hugs, he receives him, he embraces him and kisses him. Crazy, huh? That's Stefano right there. That's the son. There's the father. I think the father, I don't remember. I don't remember what happened to him. I think he got kidnapped or killed. I can't remember, man. There's one that got kidnapped from his vehicle in Laval. They just found the vehicle in the middle of the street. No one saw anything. Just the white van with the doors open, and he just poofed. That was crazy. Now, as well as acting as the bodyguard for Stefano Sollecito, Silva participates to reunions in which the question is about killing their enemies, whom are two cells of the Montreal Mafia who have lacked loyalty towards the Rizzutos. Now here's a quote from Silva himself. All the people that were present in our meetings had to go on the field to war. because their budget, their war budget, was not as good as it is today. The opposing clan was taking their business. Without budget to pay the field workers, they did not have the choice to not dirty their hands on the field, explains Silva in his declaration, collaborating with the police. In December 2011, the enemies of the Rizzutos, Reynald Desjardins, you know who this is, and his underling, Vittorio Mirarchi, and multiple members of their close guards were arrested for the offing of the aspirant Godfather gangster Salvatore Montagna. Right? He came from I think it was the Bonanos. He was Canadian, but he lived in the U.S. forever, and then I think he got deported. Maybe I'm wrong here, but I think he got deported, and he was gonna come back to Canada. He did come back to Canada. He plotted allegedly with Mr. Desjardins, and he wanted to be one of the co-leaders of this Montreal Mafia. Something happened, and instead of working together, they both felt they were each in danger of each other, and then one thing led to the next. Salvatore Montagna was dead. He was set up. So here it says Reynald Desjardins, Vittorio Mirarchi were arrested for this, and things begin to come back in favor of the Sicilians at that point. Instrument of vengeance of the Sicilians. The hour of vengeance had come. 1 year after the return of Vito Rizzuto, who was purging a sentence in 2006 in Colorado in the U.S., for offings he had committed for the Bonanno family, I think it was, in 1981 when they offed, 2-3 capos from, I forgot what his name was, that guy who became one of the biggest rats in the New York Mafia, who nobody ever thought he would rat, the fatter guy, who was in witness protection after that for decades. He passed away recently. But to ingratiate themselves or to show their loyalty, in 1981, Rizzuto allegedly flew there. There's pictures of him in front of someone's home, and you see 3 mobsters in front of a car. What the guy says? I forgot his name was, man. The Bonanno guy, Massino. There you go, Massino. Thank you. There's a picture of him with Massino and like 2 other guys, and the cops were already taking pictures of them, whatever. But Vito allegedly was part of the hit team that day when they had to off those 3 captains, whatever. That's what they're talking about. So 3 to 4 decades later, Vito Rizzuto gets charged for that, without question, with the help of the cooperation of Massino somewhere down in there. That's had to be one of the firm evidence that they had, his testimony. And Vito Rizzuto got flown over. And then after he completed his sentence, he got flown back to Canada. And now here we are in this article. It's saying the hour of vengeance had come. Because Vito couldn't do anything. He was while he was away. He could only ask people to do stuff, but they were all backstabbing him at that point when he got arrested. That's when they struck, right? So 1 year after he finally returned to end his life, came back to Canada, that's when the hour of vengeance, according to this article writer, was. In the timeline, it fits. In the beginning of it's starting in 2011. Those who attempted to throw out the Rizzuto clan find themselves under the crosshairs, and it is Silva who is one of them who commits these reprisals for them. Frederick Silva, who is still under condition. You come out of prison, you have conditions, I guess. He goes immediately back home as if nothing happened. And he makes his girlfriend... No, sorry. He acts like he has a job. Remember, he gets the job from Sollecito's friend in that roofing company, whatever. So he pretends to go to work, according to this article. He pretends to go to work and come back to his home to his girlfriend or his wife, who he keeps in ignorance, so she doesn't know anything. That's what he says to cops, you know. This will cost Silva $4,000 per month. I don't understand what they mean. They're saying that this will be worth to Silva $4,000 per month in tribute from the illegal sports betting business from the Sicilian clan. Not sure what they mean here. Do they mean that by doing that he gets a cut? Maybe that's what they mean. And that picture I should have blocked. You know what? That's gonna cost me. And that picture, it's when Salvatore Scopa, you know, you could see that picture in the parking lot when he tried to off him the first time. I don't think he was successful, because then he survived and he got offed inside a building, you know, inside of a hotel, a party or something, in front of everyone, right? So that's the first time it was not successful. In February 2017, Silva, you know, at walking distance, tries to finish Calabrian Salvatore Scopa, who had attempted with his brother Andrew, a putsch against the Rizzutos the previous year. But the mafioso runs away without any injuries. But the impulsivity of Silva was not going to stop attracting the police. See if we got something here. We're going backwards, man. Here's another one. We're going backwards. Let's go back to more of Silva's life. Very interesting character. At 18 years old, Silva and his accomplices commit theft robberies in Italian cafes. You remember we read that on the one of the last videos? We read this and I was perplexed by this. I wanted to know more. Here we go. We find out more. So, because, you know, now he's joined the mafia. So how come he was robbing them and it was okay? I was wondering, didn't make sense. But it was a long time ago. It was when he was 18. And he was robbing Italian cafes that belonged to the Cotroni clan. Let's see. He did not hesitate to point the tool at employees and clients and to steal their jewelries, even their shoes. But the mafia, or the mafiosis, do not find him funny. And they were obviously so angry at him that somehow the cops figured, you know, through the grapevine, somehow maybe informants, whatever, the cops went to see Silva and they told him, yeah, you know your life's in danger, right? After what you pulled. Silva is then finally arrested and accused of numerous robberies, and he's condemned to 7 years in prison. So we saw previous pictures. That must have been one of them. Here you have. Sorry. This is in 1998, an article from La Presse. Funny, this same newspaper right here that we're reading. 1998, old pictures. Here's a quote. I guess they're quoting an article, the article there. Silva and his accomplice were so sure of themselves that they had the audacity to go even rob a bank 3 times in the same month. The same bank, they went back 3 times to rob it. Always, of course, under the threat of the barrel, right? Even a sawed-off shoddy, you know, it says. Their arrest on the 17th of July, I guess they're talking about this date? I'm not sure. Because they say the last 17th of July, their arrest. So I'm not sure. It doesn't make sense they say this July. This is the last one, right? Probably talking about 1998. Their arrest on the last 17th of July allowed to uncover the mysteries of 14 robberies of banks that happened from the month of March to June in the financial institutions of the northeast of Montreal, and 8 robberies inside of cafes. Yeah, that's it. That's what it's got to be. Yeah, this is the wording, the exact quote. My bad. It's the exact quoting from 1998. So they're talking as if we're in 1998. That's, you know what I mean? My bad. I forgot about that. In the penitentiary, Silva and his buddy get tattooed, each one with a tombstone with 2 points to symbolize the fact that they committed 2 offings together. The accomplice of Silva would be trapped by a double agent of the police in the beginning of the 2000s and would assume the responsibility for two homies, which allowed Silva to get away with it. So he took the charge for both, and Silva got away scot-free. Project Sony. In 2001, Frederick Silva obtains his conditional liberation, but his father and his brother are arrested for frauding, grandfather-style fraud. You know, like I explained to you last time. I guess they call Oh, and he said it was over the phone last time. I remember reading that. You know, that scheme that happens today. I guess they would call, pretend to be your son. You know, the grandpa, grandma. That's terrible. You know what I'm talking about. Pretend to be your son, and then they get you to help them. Send me money. I need your help, you know. I mean, I guess that's what they're talking about. But remember, now we're talking about that his father and his brother both are obviously involved in major ways and things, you know. So they got arrested for this type of fraud. Now, the father, and by the way, his father is Italian. Not saying Italians are criminal at all. I'm just trying to say we're talking about the mafia here. I'm just wondering if his father was involved inside of a network of the mafias, you know. We got to be very careful here too, you know, because it's pretty sad if we talk about this, and then, you know, you look outside, you think they're all gangsters. Like, no, man, it doesn't work like that. Every community has gangsters. It has to be said, has to be noted, so you don't punish the majority, 99% of innocent people, you know. It's not fair. It's not right. Continuing, the father of Silva would call someone at random from a phone booth, making them believe that he was part of their family or a friend, and that he had a brand new television to propose to them, convincing them to send him money or give him a deposit, with which, of course, he ran away without delivering the television. Now, another quote here I guess it's from the newspaper. Yeah, it's the newspaper quote from 31st July 2002. Since the beginning of January, no less than 22 citizens made a complaint to the police of Montreal after being scammed. That's July 31st, 2002. Yeah, I guess they want to tell us being scammed in this way, you know? So who knows? It was them or other people like them. You know, they're not the first to invent this scheme, right? But there was 22 of them. This is really the only first one they ever did in their life. What's the likelihood that some of these 22 belong to them? That's the only one where they may have been caught. Now, the family of Silva was being investigated in an operation called Sony. The name was inspired by the television brand. Makes sense? So the police were, obviously wasn't the first. So they were investigating these string of crimes using TV to scam people. So they called that operation Sony. Sort of like today we have these operations for stolen vehicles that are happening as we speak, you know, that we haven't even heard about yet. You know? All of this contributed to resend Silva, who had just gotten out in 2001, conditional liberation, remember? So that contributed to resending him to prison. And he say here, because he did not declare the criminal activities of his families to his parole officers, I guess. All right. Find that odd. But, you know, I find that odd that it works like that. You know, what is he supposed to do, you know? Come on, that's taking it a little bit too far, you know? He's responsible of his own stuff, you know? But you could send prison for not saying the members of your family. I guess it's because when you say you go back to live with family, and then they tell you cannot live with criminals, so you must declare if people are criminals or not, because now you just went back to criminals' homes. That's not conducive to giving you, you know, a liberation on condition. You just broke the conditions. You're living with criminals. I guess that's why. Now, oddly enough, we continue here. It says, liberated a second time. He robs a bank, but he is trapped by a team of robbers. I don't understand what they're saying. No, that's not what they're saying. Un paquet voleur. I have no idea what this is. Sorry. It sounds like robbers, but it probably isn't. Parce que they would have said un paquet de voleurs. That's not what it says. It says paquet voleurs. So this is an expression or a term. I have no idea what this means. But we'll figure it out. Liberated a second time. He robs a bank, but this time he's trapped by a paquet voleur. And, comma, a stack of booby-trapped bills. You know, I don't know what the expression is. Like, I think you're talking about money here. So, you know, the banks, they have the I guess, I don't know 100% how it works. I cannot remember. I remember hearing a story like that. So take it with a grain of salt. My explanation is horrible because I don't understand it. I'm just trying to give you tidbits of what I can recall. I think when the monies from banks are numbered, there's numbers on them or whatever. Maybe they even have a stack waiting on the side in case they get robbed. They give you that, but that money is like nicely numbered. They can identify you as when you're gonna go spend it. Something along the lines of that, very vaguely, badly explained, as best as I can remember. Something along the line, but you get the drift. I think that's what they're talking about. Green Thumb says, ça veut dire un die pack dans le sac. Ah, thanks, man. I think Mr. Green Thumb says they put in, thank you, bro. It makes more sense now. Thank you. Not even about the money, about the identification of the money thing. But although that could work, but it would be hard, they put in like a device, I guess, some sort of device that could track the money being stolen, you know? They say it's a die pack thing, so I'm not too sure, but you guys probably know already what it is. I'm the clueless one here. But for you guys, at least it's mentioned, you can figure it out. But it says here, this die pack explodes inside of his vehicle. What the heck? They can do that? They can place a bomb basically inside? Yeah, I'm confused. Despite the smoke, the red smoke that blinds him, he manages to escape still. I'm surprised by this. So they can trap the money and put in something that can explode, apparently, and create smoke. This is a new thing for me. Crazy. It's a new thing for me. They can actually do this. Now, despite the red smoke that came out, apparently he manages to escape. I guess I learned something. Feel free to educate me on what this is, how it works, etc., you know? We can keep that in mind for when we do analyze in the future other stories, you know? And we try to look at possible scenarios. It could be very useful. It's something that I should know about. Protector of a mafioso. In the middle of the 2000s, I guess 2005-ish, Silva becomes a member of a gang. Remember that tattoo earlier in the video we showed you, the KB? Kraz Briz? And he gets the name tattooed on his back. The gang is implicated in defrauding terminals and cloned credit cards. Yes. And Silva is again arrested, condemned to 9 years. 9 years in Canada, of course. It's just a number, just for appearance. And it's during this second federal sentence that Silva begins to frequent more seriously individuals in the high ranks of organized crimes who are incarcerated like him, such as the members of the Syndicate, a gang active in downtown, directly under the leadership of Gregory Woolley. He created it with his buddies. And it's sponsored by the bikers, the Hells Angels, and the Mafia. You could see Gregory Woolley always trying to recreate this formula. You see that, no? It's a pattern for him. That's the only way he knew how to do things. Kept trying to recreate this again and again, even a decade after this. Because we're talking about 2005-ish right here. So we know that by 2011, Gregory was on the way, or 12, 13, he was on the way to do this again. Now, so he meets people in prison. It's his second federal pen in the mid-2000s, so 2005-ish, that he goes to prison again, and he gets acquainted more with Gregory Woolley, with his team, and all those people, the more serious bunch, but more particularly, a chief of the Rizzuto clan, Rocco Sollecito. How befitting for us. We just spoke about his son, and we did mention him. And here you have a picture of him right here. And this is a picture of Rocco Sollecito being shackled and led to the, I guess, police headquarters in Westmount. Westmount is a neighborhood in Montreal, in pretty much downtown. I love that neighborhood, but you gotta be rich. You gotta be rich to live there. But by the way, old administration, when the Calabrians reigned decades ago, maybe 6-7 decades before this, not too sure, 5-6, I can't remember. There was the leader who, I think he was a Sicilian though, but he worked with them. But he was a leader. He was well respected. I think it was Luigi Greco, and he had a home in Westmount. He lived there at that time. Just fun lore. So this was his arrest in 2006, Operation Colisée, when Del Balzo 2 was arrested. Remember that? And they found out the multi-million-dollar gambling online operation ahead of its time. Now, this last one, they're talking about Rocco Sollecito, I guess. This last one, purging a sentence after his arrest for the Colisée operation. And during that operation, on wiretap, Sollecito has some racist remarks against blacks. The conversations are reported into the media, and co-detainees threaten to beat him up, basically, or give him a hard time once that comes out, and through the grapevine in prison and all of that, and they found out how he really views them, and that's when he was in danger in prison, but not from Gregory Woolley. He doesn't care. There ain't nothing you can say to that guy, or his people. It looks like, he'd do anything as long as you have the power, and you go and and he's at the top with you. A chief of gang asks then Silva to protect Rocco Sollecito, and Silva follows him in all his movements inside the prison, I guess. Yeah, when he leaves his cell. There you go. Now, who's this chief of gang who asked Silva to protect Rocco Sollecito? Who do you think? I think I know. One day, Rocco Sollecito receives a visitor, his son, Stefano. Rocco presents his son to Silva. And remember, these are all the stories, the events being told to you in all likelihood by someone who was there, none other than Silva himself, as he's cooperating to police and he's giving his entire story. Right? Don't you forget that. Some guy's pouring his heart out, how his crazy life was, everything that happened, how he met him, how he met that. So that's what happened. He was in prison. He was asked by a gang leader, you know who, to come and protect Rocco Sollecito, because the blacks wanted to beat him up for, when the wiretaps came out that he was, how he was saying his racist stuff about them. And that gang leader, who's probably black, funny enough, was protecting him, asks Silva to go protect, to walk him around, all right? And then he becomes friends with him, and then one day the son, Sollecito, who comes visit his father, good son, like a good son should do, and he comes and he says, hey, look, this is Silva, the guy who's been keeping me in a safe way, and I guess that's when the new bond forms, a new friendship, I guess, And yeah, it says Stefano is thankful towards Silva for everything that he did for his father and invites him to come work for him when he leaves prison. A promise that Silva would never deny himself. Hey, that's good, huh? Freaking crazy. Let's see if we can. We saw this. I think we saw this. We're going to double. Yeah. We saw this. I just want to end this one once and for all. This one we did see. This we did not see. I'm just trying to see if we got the stuff that'll ding me and I could remove it right away so later I don't forget. Okay, we're good. We're going to finish with this one. Good, we have more. So this is the last chapter. We did go in reverse, but now we're going back at the very end to conclude this. Nocturnal plot in the shadows. Silva told off to officers managing successfully to bring in through drones 20-ish cell phones in his aisle of prison, B2. Now, I don't know if he was inside of prison during that time and he asked someone else to do it, or did he do it himself? He was not in prison and he had to send it to people there. I don't know. But he used drones to get 20 cell phones inside of prison. Absolutely crazy. Insane, man. With all the technology we got, now soon this will not be possible. When they start rolling out those the budget comes in and they start to have those fancy software, AI cameras scanning everything like in China. There'll be nothing passing through the air near prison without it getting scanned and detected, and police will know something went in without a question. Just we're not there yet, and in Quebec we're always late anyways. If you looked at our transportation system with the bus pass or whatever, we're late. So I wouldn't be surprised if we're still a few years away from that. But it was not there yet, so he managed to get 20 cell phones there. At night, he does not sleep. He takes advantage of the absence of the rounds performed by correctional agents in order to exchange on messaging apps, cryptid messaging apps, and to plot with his accomplices, because he has the phones, I guess. Beginning in October 2019, many individuals are killed under the order of Silva or members of his group. Silva even plots himself to eliminate the enemies who are detained also, but the projects never reach their fruition. He orders equally, look at this, he orders equally criminal fires and other misdeeds, buys and resells tools, and even enters through drones illegal merchandise in prison. So if you needed an indication, sometimes we're wondering, who's ordering these criminal fires? Obviously, right now it's not him. But something to note is maybe we should ask ourselves, where are these individuals? Where here's one sign right here. Oftentimes they're in prison, ordering fires from inside of prison. And like I told you, the real estate mogul who's getting extorted, who Gregory Woolley tried to stop getting extorted through Arab power. At the time, I do remember reading when it was mysterious and they wouldn't reveal who it was yet. They were saying that the orders were coming from prison. So they were burning his places, his properties, but the orders were coming inside of prison. Here you have another one, Silva himself, ordering fires from inside of prison. Now, the fires that we are getting now, could they be ordered from inside of prison? Well, we know Arab Power's leaders is inside of prison, and we do know they burn places too. It all seems to fit. Each time that one of his cell phones is used in the commission of a serious crime, he breaks it into pieces, and he makes it disappear by evacuating it through the toilet of his cell, prison cell, or by, I don't know what they mean, by hiding it in corners. I'm not sure what this means, where he could find them. Take it for what it was worth. It's not too important. Now, we're talking about La Fédération, the Federation, the Mafia, with the Sicilians, Silva, and Woolley's people. Remember, to take down the Hells Angels of Montreal. That's what they're talking about, the Federation. In 2020, Silva and his accomplices learned that certain individuals want to attack them and the chiefs of the Sicilian clans. The names of the enemies are written on a list, which he circulates around. I'm thinking he's in prison now at this point, not sure. Silva and the others create a group to counterattack them. Silva chooses the name of this group after having read the definition in the Larousse. Remember I told you what that was? We don't need to get back to that, it's just a dictionary. and he got the word La Fédération. He needed a dictionary. He just probably opened it and he saw it there. He said, that would be a cool name. I'm sure he didn't need someone to tell him what this means. Almost zero chance. Doesn't look like a stupid guy at all. I'm sure he knows what Federation meant already. But, he's telling the story to the cops. He says, yeah, I opened the dictionary. I saw the word Federation. I said, hey, that would be a cool name. I'm guessing it's more along that lines. But in autumn of 2021, Silva goes to trial for the offings of Vinci, that car dealer we talked about, was 2018, remember earlier in the video, and of Marchand and Samuel Beauchamp, the rocker, committed 3 years earlier, 2018. And he also, because he's going to trial, right, for the attempted offing committed against Salvatore Scopa earlier. We saw that picture. I should have blocked out. I couldn't. I didn't realize it. That was a year previous to those 3 offings he did in 2018. So 1 year before that is when he tried Salvatore. He tried, but then they successfully did it in 2019 later. But at this point, we're just talking about this. Now, so he went to trial for these. Now, when it's revealed, I guess, in court that on the scenes of the crime, the officers had found a ticket of a subway ticket, we call it métro over here, on this ticket, there's a fingerprint of Silva, and on another, his DNA on the sleeve of a t-shirt. Okay, usually t-shirts, well, you know what I mean. It doesn't exactly have a sleeve, but you know what I'm talking about. So they remember he would commit. I guess remember earlier we read that when he finished the mission, he would throw his jewel. I don't know. He was throwing the I forgot what he was throwing in the sewer. Remember? And then we said he would take off his shirt, and then he would roof the Glock in the river or Old Port. Maybe the T-shirt is something that he had thrown away. They found the DNA there. Here you have a picture of one of the victims of Silva in 2018. Yeah, he does look like an Alessandro, doesn't he? Vinci, who had no link to organized crime. Poor dude. Poor dude. So why did he get off? Probably mistaken. The judge, Marc David, of the Superior Court, condemned him to prison forever. Vincenzo Vinci gives an impact statement on the offing of his brother Alessandro and the impact that it had on his family. He looks at Silva in the eyes, who is in the box, he was in the accused section, and he asks Silva, he asks him, who do you think you are? You think you're God? Well said. Exactly. Silva, I don't know what this expression means. It says Silva turns expression. No idea. In May and June 2022, 2 close friends of Silva, Sébastien Giroux and Bernard Cherfin, remember the Lebanese dude who had I think he had ties to the Lebanese gangsters, the mob, are both offed. So these are 2 of his closest friends. So I think it's about May, June 2022. Silva's already a turncoat for the police. Once he turns turncoat for the police, they spare nobody. They're going for his friends. They want to shut them up too. They're offed. And here they are on wires and being filmed while they were meeting up. According to what he told police, after the fact, after his friends got offed, Silva had began receiving threats or death threats, including ex-associates. I guess his ex-associates threatened him, or I'm not sure how they're trying to word this. During a meeting in prison, the police warned him that there's a contract on his life. It's at this moment that Silva decides to return his vest. There's no vest, it's an expression. That he switches sides. He decided this is not for me anymore. He leaves the pen in a helicopter and is transported into a secret location where he starts to empty his bag. You know, the expression emptying everything he knows. He tells everything. And that's on the 30th of June, 2022. Okay, so this happened actually. They got off in May and June. It happened before when they got off. And then he cooperated a little bit after, right away, basically. And then he starts to write down his souvenirs on a notepad. And then they start confessing in front of the camera. One day we might be able to see those footages, right? And I'll be translating him for you, you know? And like the other guy said, you know, I rather listen to Bernstein than you, you know? Well, where do you think Bernstein, the non-French speaker, is getting his information from? You know, when I say for you, we're going to do it for Bernstein and he'll be able to know what happened whenever that footage comes out. On ignore encore que les policiers récolteront des fruits. Oh, at that point, they don't know. They're ignoring how much more fruits are going to come out of this. But yeah, we got more and more and more revelations. So, the trajectory of Frederick Silva, or his past. Now, here's what the actual scorecard for him. Remember, he revealed about 60 murders? Information about them. He didn't commit 60. Here's the actual number, 13 committed by himself. 4 attempted murders. So the intention counts, man. You're at 17 for me. It says 12 of the murders or attempted murders happened while he was wanted. So he was on the run. He knows he's going to get caught sooner or later. And while he's on the run, instead of staying quiet, that's when he commits most of them. Interesting. And 22 plots. So plotting the deaths of other people, I guess. But 8 of them murders, 8 of them attempted murders, while he was detained in 2019 to 2022, up to the point, just until the last second, you know, that he turned coat. He was still plotting from prison to get people killed. As we know, the same journalist right here who wrote this article for us. And after the 62 number, remember? 62 murders, attempted murders, or plots, of which Silva talked about, that he knew about. Now he says, certain of these contracts are still open, you know? Some people's names are on a list and there's still a contract on their lives. Crazy, man. All right. Absolutely crazy, man. Crazy articles, huh? I hope you guys enjoyed it. Cut it here, man. Thank you for joining. Shout out to you all. Shout out to Bull, Chris Hensley, Orville, what's up, bro? Sorry, man, I just saw it. Gagnon Alain, what's up? Anthony Serrano, how you doing, pal? Mr. Green Thumb, Daniel Gould, Kano 62. He's nice. Ivy Nameless. Thank you, Ivy Nameless. And G.O.D. Thank you, G.O.D. DC, of course. What's up, DC? How you doing, pal? DC's my mod, you know. If anyone says anything funny, you know, like the previous video, going all hammer, I gave him the permission to ban them. You know, you don't even have to ask me. You just do it. The only exceptions is, you know, the main people that come here every single day, they're always nice, you know. Let them a pass, you know, I don't know. It won't happen, but if a DJ or Mr. Green Thumb, anyone else, you give them a chance, you know, of course. But the brand new guy comes in and he starts like spamming, going crazy, using this as a gang platform to promote one side, just get rid of him for me, man. Don't even need to ask me. Even if I said hello to the guy, get rid of him, I won't blame you, you know. Thanks a lot, guys. And Damien Tron, what's up, pal? Thanks to everybody. Have a great night. And everyone else who joined in, man. Thank you. Hit the like button. And I'll eventually do the fires when there's a lull in the news. You know, to go back to that and observe. Thank you.